Today we will discuss the derivation of Coulomb's law from Gauss law. In my previous class, I have already discussed about the Coulomb's law as well as Gauss law. Coulomb's law gives the force between two charged particles and Gauss law gives the expression for electric flux. Here we have to derive that Coulomb force from Gauss law. For that we have to take a point charge Q. Suppose a point charge Q is at the point O and let P be a point situated at a distance r from the charge, and the electric field intensity is normal to the surface of the sphere at all the point. We know from Gauss law the electric flux is closed integration of E dot ds, which is equal to E into ds. It is the surface area of that sphere, and since the radius of the sphere is r, so the area of the sphere is 4 pi r square. So E into 4 pi r square. Now the total charge inside the sphere, let Q, and according to Gauss law the total flux equal to Q by epsilon naught. So here I have written the flux is represented as closed integration of E dot ds equal to Q by epsilon naught, and the flux is taken as E into 4 pi r square equal to Q by epsilon naught. So E equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q by r square. This is the expression for electric field intensity. But we have to calculate the force, because in the Coulomb's law the expression for force is calculated. So I have to take another point charge Q, which is the test charge, placed at the point P, and the force acting upon that test charge F equal to Q naught into E. So we have to put here in terms of E, we have to put F by Q naught, and Q naught is multiplied on the right side. So finally the force becomes F equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q naught divided by r square, which is the expression for Coulomb's law in electrostatics. So Coulomb's law from Gauss law is derived. Next we have to discuss about some problems, the theory which we have discussed in my previous classes. Suppose we have to discuss about a question: how many electrons put together will make 1 coulomb of charge? I have already told, to construct charge electrons are needed, and from the quantization principle Q equal to Ne. This is the quantization principle. N is the number of the electron, and here Q equal to 1 coulomb given, and we know the charge on the electron E equal to 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. We have to calculate the number of the electrons, and since N is the number of the electrons, so here we have to put Q is the 1 coulomb equal to N. We have to calculate this N into E, the charge of the electron, 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19. So N will become 1 by 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19. Dividing this, we can get 6.25 into 10 to the power 18 electrons. So this much amount of the electrons put together to make 1 coulomb of charge. And another question: two equal and similar charges are separated 0.03 meter and repel each other with a force of 4.5 kgf, means kg force. Find the charge in coulomb. Here two equal and similar charges are there. We have to calculate the magnitude of the charges. So we will take Q1 equal to Q2 equal to Q, because the magnitude is same. We have taken as Q, and the separation distance, that means R is 0.03 meter, F is 4.5 kg force. We have to express it in Newton. So 1 kg force is 9.8 Newton, and 4.5 kg force becomes 4.5 into 9.8 Newton. From Coulomb's law we know the expression for force, F equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by r square, and putting all the value for F and 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught value is 9 into 10 to the power 9. Finally we can get the expression for the charge. Next we have to discuss another question, that given a question just like charge on an electron is 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb and its mass is 9.1 into 10 to the power minus 31 kg. Calculate the acceleration of an electron in an electric field having intensity 9 into 10 to the power 5 Newton. So we know the relation between electric field and the force, that is F equal to QE. But according to Newton's second law from mechanics, we know F equal to ma. So this ma is equal to that force, electrostatic force QE. So simply we can calculate the acceleration A equal to QE by m. We know the value of the charge of the electron 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb, and here electric field intensity is given E equal to 9 into 10 to the power 5 Newton per coulomb, and mass of the electron we have already known 9.1 into 10 to the power minus 31 kg. Putting all this value in the above expression, that A equal to QE by m, we can find the acceleration as 1.58 into 10 to the power 17 meter per second square. Next, another two small questions. Two equal and opposite charges of magnitude 2 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb are placed at 0.15 meter apart. Find the force between them. Simply two charges are there and the separation distance is given. So we have to apply the Coulomb force formula. F equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by R square. We know the magnitude of the charges Q1 and Q2 just equal and opposite to each other, and the magnitude we know. So simply putting the value, we can get the expression for the force. Next, we have to solve a question from the flux formula. Flux, I have told already that flux is defined as E dot ds, means electric field intensity into surface area. Given a question, an area 0.25 meter square is held parallel to YZ plane in an electric field given by E equal to 5 I cap Newton Coulomb inverse. Calculate the flux linked with it. We have to calculate the flux. In mathematics, you know, when an area is held parallel to YZ plane, its direction is along x-axis. If it is in YZ plane, then its direction is along x-axis. Normally it is directed along x-axis. So here area is taken as a vector and a vector is given as, since it is along x-axis, so I cap is the unit vector. We have represented as 0.25 I cap meter square, and the electric field intensity is given in the question 5 I cap Newton Coulomb inverse. So electric flux by formula phi equal to E dot ds or E dot a. A means total area. So taking the dot product, I dot I is 1. So simply 5 into 0.25 I dot I, we can get 1.25 Newton meter square Coulomb inverse. You can solve so many problems from your books. Next, we have to discuss about some applications of Gauss law. First, we have to discuss the electric field of an infinite plane sheet of charge. Suppose here an positively infinitely plane sheet is there. We have to calculate the electric field intensity due to this infinite plane sheet of charge from Gauss law or applying Gauss law. We have to take an imaginary Gaussian surface, and that imaginary Gaussian surface is just a cylindrical surface, and the length from this is L, and here in that this side and on the two symmetrical sides the electric field intensity is along n cap. So here consider a thin infinite plane sheet of charge having charge per unit area or surface density sigma. Sigma is the surface charge density, that means charge per unit area. Sigma is represented as Q by A. Q is the total charge and A is the area of the cross section. We have to calculate the intensity at the point P. Here in the figure it is given at the point P, imaginary on the imaginary Gaussian surface. We have to calculate the intensity, and another point we have taken here symmetric to this point as P dash on the other side of the sheet, and this imaginary cylinder is just the Gaussian surface. Let A be the area of each plane face of the Gaussian surface. Here on the plane face, E and N cap are at right angles everywhere on the curved surface of the cylinder. So the contribution, we know E dot ds, E dot N cap is 0. Along the curved surface, the flux is 0. So the contribution of the flux is due to only the end faces, where E and N cap are parallel to each other, where E and N cap are just parallel to each other, but on that upper surfaces it is 0. So for the flux, we have to take the closure integration about the whole surface. Here we have taken on the two surfaces E dot N cap ds. Here E dot N cap ds. The total area integration is A, so EA plus EA, it will become 2EA. But from Gauss law, we know flux is Q by epsilon naught. Phi is represented as flux, electric flux, where Q is the net charge enclosed by the Gaussian surface, by the Gaussian's imaginary cylinder. And I have already told that sigma is Q by A. So Q by A here, so Q equal to sigma A, because sigma is the surface charge density, where sigma is Q by A. And we have to compare the equation 1 and 2. We have to compare the equation 1 and 2. Here in the equation we have get phi E, means flux is 2EA, and here we have get phi E is sigma A by epsilon naught. So comparing this two, 2EA equal to sigma A by epsilon naught, here E, electric field intensity, we can get sigma by 2 epsilon naught. This is the expression for electric field intensity due to infinite plane sheet of charge. This is one of the best application of Gauss law. Next come to another application, that electric field of a uniformly charged sphere. For a uniformly charged sphere, we have to calculate the electric field intensity on the surface of the sphere, inside of the sphere, as well as outside the sphere. Here we have taken a sphere having radius r, and we have taken an imaginary Gaussian surface on the dotted line, which is at a separation distance r from O, and in that imaginary Gaussian surface we have taken a point P. Here the ds is the area, cross-sectional area, E vector means electric field intensity, and N cap are along the same direction. Let O is the center and R be the radius of the sphere on which charge Q is distributed uniformly. Here inside the sphere, charge Q is distributed uniformly everywhere. The value of the charge is same. And we draw a concentric Gaussian surface through P. Along P we have drawn a Gaussian surface. E has same magnitude at all points. Electric field is also same, because charge is same, electric field is also same. For any path area ds on the surface, E and N cap are just parallel. Here E represented as E direction and N cap directions are same. So E and N cap are parallel to each other. N cap is the unit vector. So E dot N cap we can simply represent it as E, because unit vector has magnitude 1. So the total electric flux through the Gaussian surface of radius r is E dot N cap ds closed integration, and E is taken outside, closed integration of ds. ds is the small surface area integration, which will give the total surface area. Here the total surface area of the big imaginary sphere is 4 pi r square, because the radius is smaller. And applying Gauss law, we can get E into 4 pi r square equal to Q by epsilon naught, because this flux equal to Q by epsilon naught, and flux value we have already taken E into 4 pi r square. So finally E will becomes 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q by r square. This is the expression for electric field intensity on the sphere and outside the sphere. Then when the point lies on the surface, if the point P lies on the surface, this r, small r is equal to r, because r is the radius of the original sphere. So simply instead of small r, we have to put here capital R, because this capital R is the radius of the original sphere. So it will become E is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r square. This is on this sphere, and previous one is outer side of the sphere. But when the point lies inside the sphere, what is the amount of the electric field intensity? Here we have taken the point P inside the sphere, whose radius is taken as small r, and the original sphere has radius capital R. Here also we have taken a point P inside the sphere, and n cap E are along same direction. We have drawn an imaginary Gaussian surface through the point P, and flux through this surface is given as phi E equal to E into 4 pi r square. E into A, here the surface area is 4 pi r square. But when the sphere is conducting, then the entire charge will resides on this surface of the sphere. So no charge within the Gaussian surface. I have already told before that all the charges resides on the surface of the sphere, but no charge is inside the sphere. Since inside sphere the charge is 0, so from Gauss law we know phi equal to q by epsilon naught, but this q is 0, so phi becomes 0. So the electric field intensity inside the sphere becomes 0. This is all about